Okay, could you first start off by saying what branch of the military you were in?
I am Army, Medical Services, if that's what you're asking.
And your rank, please?
First Lieutenant.
Alright. And first question. What made you decide to become an Army officer?
It initially because someone told me when I was enlisted, if you want your opinion to matter more, then you need to put yourself in a position for it to matter more. And that's what started.
Do you have any family members who inspired you to join the military?
I can't really say me joining the military was inspired by anything. My brother was in before I was, and there's a possibility that I may not have done it, but I was in ROTC, and that was a big factor, and it also a JROTC in high school. But I don't have one real reason why I joined. But if I could say it's my brother.
He's your role model?
In some ways, yeah.
What branch in the military did you go into, and why did you choose that?
When I first joined, I was transportation, and I was 17 and really naive. And I actually didn't choose it. I went into the recruiter's office or to the MEP station and said, I want to go to Fort Campbell. My brother's at Fort Campbell, and that's where I want to go. Whatever job I need to take to get to Fort Campbell, that's what I'll do. And they're like, okay, and just put me in something. So
Yep. Okay, and were you nervous coming out of college and going straight into the military?
well, I'd been in the Army for 7 years before. I did it kind of backwards. Went in right out of high school, then got out, and then went through the program.
You were prior service?
So, no. Not after I finished college, no. I kind of had a good idea of what I was getting into by then.
And then, how do you cope with all the new responsibilities of being an officer?
ROTC prepped me a lot for that. Just being in ROTC and being in college and having to understand that time management is going to be a big part of my life from now on. And that's pretty much the biggest change, is just juggling all of my responsibilities at one time and managing my time better.
Yeah, definitely. Did you have any prior military experience before being an officer?
Yes.
Why did you choose to be an officer instead of enlisted? You answered that before. What other professions did you think about pursuing other than the Army?
Psychologist. I always wanted to be a psychologist. I'm still on that route. That's why I chose Med Services, because it'll be easier for me to transition within the branch. But I have to have a specialty degree, and I'm working on that now. But I have a bachelor's in psychology as of now, and I'm working on my master's.
That's pretty cool. Did you feel prepared and confident coming out of college into active duty? And what types of things did you do while in college to better prepare yourself for being an officer?
Can you repeat that for me?
Did you feel prepared and confident coming out of college into active duty officership? And what types of things did you do while in college to better prepare yourself for being an officer?
I was confident in some things, and there's still things that I didn't know, or I still don't know, even being enlisted before, because it's kind of a different world, a lot of different responsibilities. But I was confident enough because I understood the Army and how things worked. So I wasn't completely terrified, but I wasn't overconfident, I guess, to put it that way. That I know what I'm doing. I still kind of humble myself and play the new girl role. Like I need somebody to tell me how to be an officer.
Okay, and Being an officer, what qualities and traits do you think make up a great officer?
Integrity is probably the number one thing, and I would say that for any soldier, but officers more because the decisions you make are not always seen as NCOs. If an NCO doesn't have integrity, it usually shows because he's right there in front of his soldiers. But as an officer, you can really have an effect on people's lives without them knowing it, just from the things you do behind the scenes. And if you don't have integrity, you can make selfish decisions or make bad decisions that can have a direct effect on somebody else's life, and I mean that literally, their life. So integrity definitely number one, and bearing and courage, I would say, would be strong seconds and thirds.
I agree with you on that integrity stuff. There's some sneaky people in the Army. My dad got a taste of that. What type of challenges did you face while leading soldiers?
I haven't had a platoon yet as an officer, but just in general from before, and even from the program, you're still going to deal with that also. It's just that everybody's different, and if it's more than 4 people, you're going to have challenges because people come from different places. They have different mindsets and different ways of doing things. And being young and female in a male-dominated field is difficult in itself because people kind of write you off as automatically you don't know what you're talking about. So having to prove myself is probably the biggest challenge that I face on most times.
Do you feel as though ROTC prepared you in every way possible to become an officer?
I don't think anything could prepare you in every possible way because people go to different places, different commands demand different things from you. But I would definitely say that the colonel that was here while I was here worked us to the bone, and we complained about it then, but I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot, and now when things come up, I'm like, oh, he taught me that. I know how to handle this because he taught me that. So definitely I had really good leadership while I was going through the program, and I would say I was prepared for a lot of things.
So you do need to allow yourself to continue learning?
Absolutely.
What were some things you didn't learn in ROTC that would have helped?
I would say more of the smaller things, like learning. Now I'm learning more about I'm going to use acronyms. Working with the company's MTO, which is pretty much a list of all the things that the company is allowed to have as far as people and equipment and everything. There was just a lot of things about that I didn't understand, and I had to get a crash course on that. So there's smaller things that you just don't know, and there's probably not enough time in an ROTC course to teach it, like opening a range and things like that. I just had no clue on how to do them.
That's where your NCOs come in to help you?
Right.
When you transitioned out of college, how different was it?
Honestly, it wasn't very different. I went back to the same unit that I was in before, so everybody knew me. I just had more responsibilities. Just like, oh, you're done. Okay, now you do this, and here's a new set of things that you have to do on top of that.
And what were some new things you did while leading others on active duty that you didn't do in college?
When I was active versus college, it was when you're college. First class or
Yeah.
anything like that. So pretty much all peers, and everybody knows that. And I would say the difference is that it's when I have soldiers, I'm really in their lives. Like, I know kids, I know their spouses. I'm really
Yeah.
into their lives. If they, if they're sick, they let me know, or anything. And I would think that that would be the biggest difference. It's more personal.
Why do you think that the Army makes it so soldiers are so active in each other's lives?
It has to be that way, especially for a leader. With the job that we do, if, let's say for instance, a unit is deploying, and an officer or an NCO doesn't know that, Sergeant such and such kid has XYZ disablement or disease or something like that. So now, he's yelling at them and pushing them and pushing them and pushing them at work. But he has to understand that what's at work is one thing, but then he has this whole other set of issues at home. And with our jobs being so demanding, you have to understand that there's more to a person than what you see at work, because people break, and understanding that other part of their life is very important.
Alright, and last question, what is your AOC?
70 Bravo is my AOC right now, which is Medical Services Officers. That's it. I'm actually in the process of earning my specialty, which is going to change my AOC to 70 Foxtrot, which will make me a Health Services Human Resources Officer.
You get the bonus pay too?
More specialized. No.
Oh.
No, it's actually a requirement for 70 Bravos. You can only hold that AOC until you're first lieutenant. Before you make captain, you have to specialize. So there's a million ways you can go once you're in med services, medical logistics, and all these different things. I chose the HR route just because it's more in line with what my actual goals are.
Alright. Thank you, Lieutenant Gordon.
No problem.